This is Dawn Fraser from Living Your Best Life at 60, and this morning I'm going to be making a Starbucks Coffee Cake Copycat recipe. We're going to need 2 3/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of flour, 3/4 cup sugar, 3/4 cup brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 eggs, 2 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a cup of butter, 1 tablespoon of milk, 3/4 cup sour cream, and I have cooking spray to prepare my pan. So let's get started. We're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to use cooking spray to prepare my pan. Make sure when you're spraying this on that you get the corners because you don't want your coffee cake to stick. You can also use butter to prepare your pan. Let's set this aside. We're going to start with our streusel. The first thing I'm going to do is take a 1/2 cup of my butter and I'm going to stick it in the microwave to melt it. I've separated out 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon of my flour. I'm adding in 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix these together. I'm going to use a fork because I find it easier to mix together when the butter gets in here. You just want to stir this until it's all one color. I'm going to take my 1/2 cup of melted butter and pour it in. And we're just going to continue to stir this until it's all mixed together. So just a little bit longer, you can see that there's still flour that hasn't been dissolved. Getting a workout. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're going to set this aside and start working on our other ingredients. We're going to work on our dry ingredients first. I've got my 1 3/4 cup flour. I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to whisk these together and set them aside and work on our wet ingredients. Now it's time for the cake part of our recipe. We're going to take 3/4 cup of our sugar and a 1/2 cup of our butter, and I actually melted my butter. We're going to mix them together. I'm going to take my eggs and I'm going to mix in one at a time. I'm going to pour in my 2 teaspoons of vanilla and mix that in. I'm going to mix in 1/2 of my 3/4 cup sour cream and 1/2 of my flour mixture in at a time. This looks nice and creamy. It's time to put our batter into our pan. We're going to take 1/2 of our batter and spread it across the bottom. I want to get it into the corners. Okay, like that. We're going to take 1/2 of our streusel and put it on top. I'm actually going to do this by hand. I like to sprinkle it on. Looks like that. Take the rest of our batter and put it on top. We're just going to smooth this across. And now I'm going to put the rest of the streusel on top. It already looks delicious. It's Time to put our Starbucks coffee cake in the oven. We're going to bake this for 45 to 48 minutes at 350 degrees. I've taken my Starbucks coffee cake out of the oven and look at this. It looks amazing and smells delicious. We're going to let this cool for 10 to 15 minutes. While we're waiting for our coffee cake to cool, we're going to make our icing. We're going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla and a tablespoon of milk. I'm going to start with a little less. I'm just going to pour some in there. And we're just going to start stirring this in. And it takes a little while for it to mix in, so be patient. Mixing in really well, but it's maybe, let's see. Actually looks pretty good. Okay, that looks perfect. I'm going to set our icing aside. I've removed my coffee cake from the pan and look at this. We could serve it just like this. It looks delicious. But I'm going to go ahead and drizzle on our icing. Making a little bit of a mess. Oof, on the floor. But look at this. This looks amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you for cooking with me.